Welcome back, everybody, to Deck Doctor's EDH. I'm Dr. Pete.
I'm Dr. Mike.
And we're here to perform surgery on your decks and prescribe miracle cures. We're doing Narset Enlightened Exile. Narset is a 4-drop, 1 red, white, and blue for a 3/4 who has creatures you control have prowess.
Narset's second ability says whenever she attacks, you can exile a card from any graveyard, including your opponent's, as long as it's a non-land, non-creature, and you can cast a copy of that spell as long as the mana value is less than her power, which goes up every time you cast an instant or sorcery.
Because Narset has prowess. So for my deck, I've focused on doing Cantrips. Cantrips are cards that generally cost 1 or 2 mana, instants and sorceries, that will draw you a card. Some of them have additional effects, and that's kind of the thing that we're going to be focusing on here, is we want to get Cantrips with additional effects. They're going to be probably the best cards in your decks here. So the one I want to focus on here is the card Leap. It's a 1 blue for an instant. It says target creature you control gains flying until end of turn and draw a card. These are the cards that we're going to try and put in our decks. It's going to help us get through on attacks, and it's also, it's another card that you're going to be able to cast for free from your graveyard when you attack with Narset. We're of course also running classics like Ponder and Brainstorm, the classic cantrips that we all know and love. I'm working with one sub-theme here. We're doing a little bit of Blink for some ETB effects. We've got cards like an Archimancer, which is going to get you an instant or sorcery back from your graveyard. And we've got Spellseeker, which is going to go search your library for an instant or sorcery and put it into your hand.
It sounds a lot like what Narset's doing.
That's what Narset does. Then we're going to want to have some cards that are going to help you enable that Blink strategy. So we're playing cards like Displacer Kitten and Eldrazi Displacer. They're going to do the thing and bring the cards back, get you those ETB triggers again. Another smaller strategy within the deck are some non-creature card payoffs. We're going to be running Gutter Snipe to ping our opponents every time we cast an instant or sorcery. That's what we're doing. We're casting instants and sorceries. We need a way to get their life totals low. Gutter Snipe's a great way to do it. Any other card similar to Gutter Snipe you probably want to be looking at. Another card is Balmor Battle Mage Captain, who's going to pump up our creatures and give them trample. And then we've also got Stormkiln Artist. It's going to make you some treasures when you cast instants and sorceries, which we're doing a lot. So all of our cantrips that cost 1 essentially cost 0. We're going to want to run some Evasion in our deck as well. We want to get Narset through. Narset is going to be our main win condition, usually with commander damage. So we're running cards like Bria, Riptide Rogue. Another card that's going to give all your creatures prowess. So we're doubling up on prowess there with Narset and Bria. And then Bria is also going to give a creature unblockable when you cast an instant or sorcery. And then we're running cards like Artful Dodge, which is just going to make our creature unblockable twice because it also has flashback. And if we want to or need to, we can get that card from the graveyard with Narset. Because we're leaning so heavily into combat damage with Narset, we're going to be running cards like Relentless Assault and Temporal Manipulation to get extra turns and extra combats. We're also going to be able to get those cards back and recast them with Narset. We're going to make people miserable. Spin those wheels,
I'm already miserable.
We're running a pretty standard removal package. We've got Chaos Warp, we've got Abrade, we've got Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, and a suite of counter spells to protect our stuff and stop them from winning. Pretty standard ramp package as well. We're running our talismans, our arcane signet, our soul rings. It's Jeskai. Options are limited.
Not a whole lot of land ramp spells.
For card draw, we want to be running a few things other than cantrips. Cantrips are fine, but they're really just replacing the card that you cast. So we're running cards like Case of the Ransacked Lab, which is going to make all of your instants and sorceries cheaper. And then once you've cast 4 or more instants and sorceries in a turn, you're going to have the ability to draw a card whenever you cast an instant or sorcery. And then we're also running Whirlwind of Thought. It's an enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get to draw a card.
I included this just because Narset's in the art.
I mean, it's a good card, too, in the deck.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for flavor.
And that's pretty much the deck. It's, I think it's very powerful. This deck comes in at around $350. We've also got a budget version that's around $100. We're removing some of the extra turns and combats, some of the more expensive creatures, and we've also put in a cheaper land base. You're always going to be good in a 2 or 3 color deck running some more basic lands. That shouldn't hurt you too much.
You sure about that?
And since we're mid-roll now, you know what time it is? It's time for Kraken packs. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like for a chance to win one of these packs.
We've got New Capenna today.
New Capenna set boosters.
We've got a chance to get some of those sweet fetch lands.
All right, first pack, we've got an art card. We've got a foil island. Fake your own death. Buy your silence. Midnight Assassin. Voice of the Vermin. Sizzling Soloist. Luxurious Libation. A Showcase Nimble Larcenist. A Showcase Skybridge Towers. Showcase Maestro's Charm.
A lot of showcase.
Our rare is Corpse Explosion. And then we have a foil, Call in a Professional. And then a treasure token.
All right, second pack. We've got an art card. Basic Forest. Civil Servant. Gathering Throng. Rakish Revelers. Girder Goons. Public Enemy. A Little Chat. An Offer You Can't Refuse. That one's one of my favorites.
Oh, I love that card.
Sleep with the Fishes.
I don't love that card.
Lagrella the Magpie. She's interesting. Built a deck with her on Arena. It's weird. Urabrask Heretic Praetor.
That's the word. You got it.
And foil Obscura Charm. I think this is a pretty solid pack. And a fish token.
A fish token. All right, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for a chance to win these packs. All right, Mike. So tell us about your Narset deck.
Pete, I've decided to go wide with my deck build. There are quite a few permanents that create creature tokens.
Sure are.
On spellcast. Whenever you cast instants and sorceries, which we're going to be doing a lot of, in combat, before combat, increasing attack power from prowess, and each of those creature tokens are going to be getting buffs from that prowess as well. So the wider we build our board state, the taller they get at that. A lot of this token generation comes from Kaikar Wind's Fury. Kaikar creates a 1/1 creature token that can also be sacrificed for mana, further fueling more spell casting. Talron's Sky Summoner will create a creature token every time you cast an instant or sorcery spell, and they fly, so it's going to be easy to get past blockers for the most part. Shark Typhoon not only makes creature tokens, but makes them stronger based on how expensive the spell was cast.
Are those flying sharks?
I think they are.
They are.
I'm pretty sure I worked it in here because I love Sharknado so much.
Big Tara Reid fan?
Huge. Further leveraging these triggers from casting instants and sorceries, I worked in Varen, Voice of Duality. Varen doubles these triggers. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery and it triggers an effect from any creature on the battlefield, it's triggered twice. So that's going to be double the creature generation. That's going to be double any of the other effects that you have from Magecraft and so on. Speaking of Magecraft, this is a pretty spell-slingy deck. Spell slinging is pretty hard to avoid with these particular colors.
Narset is giving all your things prowess and getting things out of the graveyard that are non-creature, non-land. So yeah, spell slinging is going to be the way that I think a lot of people are going to build this deck.
I've got a lot of Magecraft triggers in here. Archmage Emeritus will help with card draw. We've also got Stormkiln Artist, which you included with yours. It's a must-have because it will allow for more treasure generation. Something else that I felt was necessary to work in here, because instants and sorceries aren't always cheap. I wanted to make sure that cost reduction was at least a small part of this deck.
Oh yeah. Well, what are you running for cost reducers in your deck?
You're probably not gonna like this, but Barrel, Chief of Compliance, everybody's favorite Nope commander.
Yeah.
So that's gonna help with some card draw if I'm working in some counter spells, which there are a handful in here, as any blue deck ought to have.
Some card selection with Baral is good. Yep. And the cost reduction is huge.
I've also got a new one from Bloomborough in Eluge, the Shoreless Sea. Every time this one attacks, you put a counter on a land, and that counter reduces the cost of the first spell you cast every turn. The first spell you cast could be free, because it doesn't just reduce the colorless cost, it reduces the blue cost as well.
So any blue instants or sorceries that you cast could be free. That is a powerful card.
My main theme for this deck is instants cast in combat, otherwise known as combat tricks. A lot of the time, we're going to be casting things on Narset to give her double strike, first strike, trample. We're going to be doing this after blocks are declared, pumping her and all of our other attackers just a little bit more. If we can buff all of the attackers, that's even better. In all, I'm running 29 instants and only a handful of sorceries, 4 or 5.
That counts as a theme.
It's pretty heavy on instants. Considering I'm going with a creature token theme, I've only got 15 creatures in the whole deck, not counting Narset herself. It's pretty low, but a lot of my creatures are generated from other permanents. They're tokens. Some of the instants that I worked in here are Lightning Blow to give Narset, or really anything, first strike. If she's in any kind of danger, if her power is greater than her toughness and she's about to get blocked fatally, give her first strike, she's safe.
First strike and pump her up because of prowess. I think a lot of time people are going to be, if you're attacking and you're holding mana back, I think people are going to be really cautious about blocking only because of that prowess trigger. And you know, once the cat's out of the bag and they know it's combat tricks, they're going to be scared.
I've got Snap to bounce creatures. We're working with Swords to Plowshares for removal mid-combat. Opponents think that they might have blocked well, but we remove their blockers. We get right through anyway. Trample enablers, double strike enablers, anything that we can cast at instant speed mid-combat is going to secure us a win once Narset's pumped up. Something else that I wanted to work in, something I work into every deck that relies on triggers of any kind, whether they be ETB or attack or damage triggers. Strionic Resonator. You pay 2 mana and tap it, and you can copy any triggered ability, such as Narset's attack trigger. Even better, essentially, Strionic Resonator Plus is Lithiform Engine. It's even more flexible. It's got the same ability as Strionic Resonator. You pay 2 mana, you can copy a triggered ability. But if you've already done that, and you want to copy a spell, you can pay 3 mana, copy a spell that's currently on the stack. So you can get a lot of value out of just these 2 artifacts.
Sure can. You can actually copy those spells that you have exiled and copied and put on the stack with Lithiform Engine. You're double dipping. Well, everybody, with that, that's been our deck techs. Thanks for joining us today. Remember to click like and subscribe and give us a comment. Let us know what you think of these decks. Let us know what you're building. Let us know what you want to hear on our next deck tech.
What's Nick normally say here?
I don't know. Something stupid.